All right, welcome to a special edition of Extra Time with We Are Soccer. Today, in the basement bar, we have Nate, the Bundesliga expert. Cheers, buddy.
Prost.
All right, so why is Nate here? Well, we're talking about the Bundesliga and all the matches coming up this weekend, and then we'll delve into a lot of the players and where they could be moving this summer, and then, as I like to call it, the coaching merry-go-round. So, all right, Nate, what do we got on tap this weekend for games?
Top of the list, in my opinion, the match to watch today, or Saturday, really, is going to be Dortmund versus Leipzig. I mean, I think that is really the match that's going to take the weekend. It's going to be highly entertaining. You have Dortmund, who is one of the top attacking teams in the Bundesliga, versus Leipzig, who's one of the better defending teams in the Bundesliga. You have basically a precursor to the DFB Pokal in a couple weeks. You have Leipzig that is, if Munich slips, they're still in the hunt. You got Dortmund, who is 1 point out of the Europa League or Champions League. So it's going to be a battle. Both teams have a lot to win and to go for. And it will be interesting on if they're both going to show all their cards prior to the Pokal match, because it'd be a huge accomplishment for Nagelsmann going out, leaving Leipzig with a trophy.
Yep.
You have the Terzic, the interim manager. He's not going to be the manager at Dortmund. That's a fact. So he's kind of playing for a job. There's other positions that are going to be opening that we'll talk about later. So there's other opportunities for him to go other places in the Bundesliga. So it's on him to perform. So the question is what's more important, the league status or the cup? And I think for Leipzig, the cup might be a little bit more important.
I was about to say it's kind of different for each team, right? Leipzig want the cup, and Dortmund need the league. And we can kind of explore why in a little bit, because we could go really deep onto some of those players and why the league counts and what we can go really in depth on that. So let's save that for a few minutes, because I think I want to delve into Dortmund and some of the players and some of the transfers that could be happening this summer. All right, what other games do we have on tap this weekend that you're interested in watching?
Next up, Bayern Munich versus Borussia Gladbach. Munich getting ready to try to clinch the title. Can they do it? Probably. We'll see. But Gladbach has been known to kind of put up a bunch of goals this
and they've been doing well recently. And plus, for Bayern Munich, Lewandowski, right? He could set the record this weekend.
Goal scoring record.
Right. He's competitive. He wants that record.
36-40. Hasn't been done since 1971 to 72 by one Gerard Müller. So
one of the greatest German players ever, right? Bundesliga players
and German.
Yeah. So do you think he gets it? Do you think he gets that record?
I think he gets it.
Yeah,
I think he gets it.
I think he gets it.
He probably won't get all the goals he needs in this game. This will be the stepping stone for it. But with the amount of games left, I think he'll end up getting it and closing that out. And why not? I mean, you watch his goals all through the year. In the years past, I mean, and this year they're fantastic. They're great goals that he puts in every week, every game.
Oh, he's one of the best strikers in the world.
Oh, yeah.
He scores simple goals. He scores, stunning goals. He just puts the ball in the back of the net.
Does he win the blue?
No, I don't think he wins Ballon d'Or. I don't think so. I think Messi.
I think he sets the record.
No, I don't think he wins it, even if he sets a record. I think Messi takes it again.
Well, I'm going to just say Landonowski because
I mean, trust me. I and should he win it? Probably, but Messi is Messi and the greatest of all time, in my opinion. The numbers he's put up this year, granted different league, different circumstances, but Lewandowski should be up there. Should finish second or third. And if he wins it, hey, I wouldn't. Good, great, that's awesome. But I don't think he wins it. So, what other games are we looking forward to this weekend, my friend?
Frankfurt, Mainz. Mainz is on a streak. Haven't lost in 9 games. And Frankfurt is exactly 1 point above Dortmund in that Champions League spot. So they are fighting to keep it. Mainz is still, I think, in my opinion, still trying to clear some distance. They're probably safe. But, pride in that game, they're not just going to lay down for Frankfurt. And with their way they have been playing since the second half of the year, they've been playing very well. Frankfurt has been up and down these last few games. So it's going to be a struggle for them. Now, Silva, who's also being looked at by various different clubs as a striker, is on fire in games. So they can be a force to be reckoned with. So that should be definitely an interesting game from both parties.
All right, I like that. So, is that it for the weekend? We got any others?
The last one I would tune into is going to be Berlin versus Bielefeld. It's
why is that such
a battle of the relegation teams? Now, I apologize. I called the Berlin game wrong for you today. I have to own that one and probably pay you whatever money you lost.
I lost a lot of money on that, probably about $3.
That's $3. If my record speaks anything for himself, just do the opposite of what I say constantly. But Berlin coming back, this is their third game in 9 days.
It's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games
in a short period of time, especially when you're fighting a relegation battle.
Yep.
And we'll come back to the relegation battle in a second. I'll let you finish your thought there.
Now Berlin's out. They by today they've kind of creeped out, but they're in lock. If you saw what the bottom posting standings I posted, Bielefeld needs to win. If they win, they're clear by a few points, and they're a little bit out. And now it's down to Bremen, and what they might do, and the outcome of their game, whether or not they can drop in or not. So that's going to be an important relegation game for those two teams.
I like those relegation battles, right? You got two teams who are fighting it out, and it's not like a closed league like the Super League or any of the American leagues. It's these. If you think about these teams, these clubs, they're businesses. They're fighting for their lives. These players are fighting for their careers, and they don't want a relegation on their CV or resume. They don't want that because it'll hurt them. So I love those games, and some of those games, those relegation games they're way more fun to watch than the teams at the top of the table battling it out.
Oh yeah, it should be a good one. It really should. And those are some of my favorite games as well. I mean, I lived through the whole relegation thing with Stuttgart. We're actually there, and those were some really fun games to go to. 1 year they skinned out, and then the other year they did not. And yeah, when you talk about pride and not wanting to go down to League Two, all those players took a big shot in the gut for that, and we're apologetic to the fans and the supporters of the club who have stake in all the clubs as well.
So I noticed on your list of games you haven't mentioned Stuttgart.
No.
They play FC Augsburg tomorrow.
They do.
Friday. So you might be watching this today, Friday. So they play today.
There's a reason for that. So they've been on a slide, but in fairness, they're missing some of the better players due to injury. Okay. They've been out. Juan Matuga, Sosa, Megdala, who's one of the midfielders who's been very good. Juan Matuga is, if you go back to the early season before he got really badly injured, his highlights, and he was Bundesliga Player of the Year twice Bundesliga Player of the Year twice per month, and was fantastic. Re-signed with Stuttgart, will be there a long time. So next year when he comes back, will be a really exciting player to watch. Sure. Normally that's a good game to watch. Hopefully Stuttgart will pull through on that one. But I can't bring up Stuttgart all the time. You just yell at me. It's not like you bring up Villa all the time.
Maybe.
All right,
touche. It's all right. All right. So, if one had to pick a game this weekend that you would say this is the lock of the weekend, which game would you pick?
The lock of the weekend.
Who am I betting on? It was what I'm asking. Who am I putting my precious $5 on this weekend? That if they lose, I can come back and go, Nate, the Bundesliga expert,
failed me again.
Depending
on the points, I think Dortmund's going to be Leipzig.
Think so?
I think Dortmund's going to be Leipzig. I think, there's the old mantra, defense wins championships, but a good attacking team can pull you through. And Dortmund, they're shaky in the back for sure. But I think for this game and what's on the line and what they need to do and all that's at stake, I think you're going to see Haaland on fire.
Okay.
And I think they're going to sneak a couple past Leipzig, and I think they're going to win this one. Now, come Pokal, I think it's going to be a little bit of a different story.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. But I think for this game, for what's on the stake here, I think Dortmund's going to take this one.
All right, that'll be where I put my money at. And then when the reverse of that result happens, I'm coming looking for it.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So before we jump in and talk about some of the moves to the summer and some of the implications these games this weekend have, is there any other games you want to mention, or should we just jump in and start talking about players?
Yeah, I think covered it all. I mean,
Okay.
of course, Bremen and Leipzig should be interesting. Obviously, we can run them all down, but I think those would be my games that I'm going to definitely turn into myself that I won't be missing.
Okay, so let's talk about that Leipzig Borussia Dortmund game, because there is big implications there.
Mm-hmm.
If Dortmund do win, they creep into that Champions League spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, they'll fall out of that and put some distance between themselves and that spot. But they need to win to keep one young star there, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've got several stars, to be honest. I mean, we could go down the list. Haaland, Sancho, Bellingham, Gio Reyna, they got stars. But one, the true star of the world in the moment, everybody's kind of keeping an eye on, is Erling Haaland.
Well,
and he wants to play Champions League football.
Right. Well, not only that, but I think his management team wants him playing championship.
Absolutely.
But the reports I heard a couple weeks ago from just various different things I was listening to is that the management team is his management team. The people who manage Haaland are apparently really they're pleased with Dortmund, the way they handle him and the exposure he gets and how they treat him. They're willing to stick. From what the rumors are swirling, of course.
Sure.
Everyone's got rumors this time of year.
So these are your German kind of like we won't say the word spy. We'll call them moles. The German moles getting information for you,
or the radio show. So some of the indications I heard is that that they might keep him there for another year if they make the Champions League. If they don't make the Champions League, completely different story.
Okay.
Because of the marketability and what they want for him.
Yes.
They're willing to stick it there for another year if they make Champions League. Now, you brought up Sancho. I think he's a foregone conclusion, is going to be out. I think that's who they're going to cash in on this year. I think he's the one who's going to move because they got replacements with Bellingham and Reyna.
And he obviously heads to England most likely. Manchester United or City or Chelsea.
Before
he would head to one of those.
United fans get all crazy. He is the odds-on favorite to go there, according to most betting pools. If you ask me, and not to dabble into the Premier League, which isn't my realm apparently, but if you ask me, I think the target striker would be good for them. But anyways, nonetheless, if you look at all the betting sheets, odds-on favorite is United, and
he has been for the last year and a half, I believe. The rumors have been there that United have been bidding on him, and they want him. They've put that out there. So I agree. If Erling Haaland doesn't go anywhere, if he does stay at Dortmund, Sancho is definitely gone. They'll cash in that chip. If Dortmund don't make the Champions League, Haaland could be gone, and then they might try their best to hang on to Sancho. But I got a feeling that Dortmund is going to do what Dortmund have done for years, and sell those young players and groom new ones to come up.
It's my understanding that they're a bit cash strapped because of COVID. So if they don't make the Champions League, they might have to leverage both. Now, again, I think they will, in the end, pull it through. I kind of hope they don't, because it would be nice to see Frankfurt kind of go in. Personally, I think it would be cool to see a team that like Frankfurt who.
I agree. Actually, I watched a documentary on Frankfurt a couple of weeks back and got a little bit of a soft spot for them. Very cool club, the way their fans travel and follow them, and the owner, the way he kind of speaks very highly and brought them in. I would like to see Frankfurt get into that Champions League spot and see how they do. Yeah. But on the other hand, I do want to see Dortmund get in there because I want to see Erling Haaland stay. I want to see Haaland stay and play in the Bundesliga. I don't want to see him leave.
It would be good for the league, is what the Germans say.
Exactly.
It would be good for the league because it would be another team competing up there. Just like Leipzig is hopefully going to continue competing with what they're doing. Yeah. So the Leipzig motion will keep going. Hopefully the Dortmund motion will be going. And I think actually Dortmund, with the injuries they had this year, probably would have been a different story if they had Wetzel still sitting in the midfield.
Sure.
So I think they know where the areas that they need to improve on, and I think those are easy areas to fill, especially when they get some of those injuries back. And I think they should be in good shape next year if they can get the Champions League and keep Haaland. You know,
I'm a big fan of players sticking with the team if the team's doing well, and Dortmund have done well. So hopefully they can nail down that spot, and Haaland can stay there. Something else I'd like to touch on with you. Some of the young Americans playing in the Bundesliga. So we've seen this over the last couple of years, right? Pulisic came through. Mm-hmm. We see Gio Reyna. We see Josh Sargent. This weekend and moving forward to the end of the season here, what Americans are you keeping your eye on?
Well, when they come back from his injury, because Richards right now for Hoffenheim, who's a center back, he picked up a bit of a knack. I think he's still out. Okay. I just picked up that Adams is actually out with a minor back injury for a couple weeks. Okay. But those two are the ones that I would be really looking at, as well as, I mean, I'm a big Sargent fan. I really am. I think he's a good player.
He's not quite the finished product yet.
No, he's also 18. Though.
Yeah, he's young. He's
19.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of growing to do. He's got a little bit of experience and needs to be put under him. He's a good player though. I watched that game last weekend. I believe it was who they played, Leipzig, was it? In the Pokal Cup.
Yeah. He was all over the place.
Yeah, and he again, you could see he's not quite the finished product yet, but he is getting there. And I think you give him another year or two in the Bundesliga, and he's going to move to one of those so-called bigger clubs in the Bundesliga, or jump ship and maybe possibly be playing, Serie A, La Liga, or the Premiership. There's that possibility. I think he's got that in him. Very good player.
I think Reyna is coming in form with Dortmund now. He's taking his chance and running with it.
Yep.
I think he's proven the last couple of weeks that he's reliable and good.
Yeah.
And then not in the Bundesliga, but that Aaron Anderson for Salzburg.
Yep.
Who's doing very well. And if he keeps going very well, there might be another RB team that is in the Bundesliga. So who's getting a coach, his former coach. So we could see, an Aaron Anderson playing for Leipzig maybe one day. Who knows,
It is crazy to think the amount of Americans who have gone over there and are succeeding. And I think it's only going to be more. There's only going to be more American players coming up through those ranks. And those clubs are really going to benefit from those players. So something you mentioned there was the coaches and kind of, let's talk about that coaching merry-go-round there. We'll talk about the clubs and the coaches, and then we'll do a little bit of chatting about Jesse Marsch and what we can expect there. So I'll let you start it off with the coaching merry-go-round that's happened the last couple of weeks.
So we can start at the top with Flick, basically dumping it on everyone that he's out.
So did no one see that coming? It was just kind of like, I'm out.
It was kind of a mic drop, apparently. From the understanding that I have was there wasn't really much discussed with the board. The board was on the plane. The board landed and found out that in a press conference, he told everyone, because apparently he didn't want his players to, not know or something. I think it was a move to leverage. I think he wanted out, and I think he wanted that.
He's leaving one of the biggest clubs in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think he wants to go to coach the national team, and I think this was his way to, with that spot opening up after the Euros. I think this was his way to kind of push that forward and get out. And apparently, Munich is hard to coach for.
Lots of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure, but the board has a lot to say.
Yep.
And you don't often get the players you want.
Sure.
And there was rumors coming out that, he was in contact with players behind the board's back, and, that it wasn't, that he didn't get really the players he wanted so much. I mean,
but before Lewandowski got injured, they were the odds-on favorite for the Champions League. I got to be honest. I had them winning it. Before Lewandowski got injured, I had them winning the Champions League, and I still think they're one of the best teams. Obviously we know what happened.
He's one of the most accomplished coaches in
he really
Munich.
is. He really is.
In a year, So
I mean, he won every trophy almost.
No, he won every trophy.
I mean, it's crazy.
So and he did it, and it was and part of me kind of goes, great, go on to the German national team. Part of me goes, well, could you done that a little bit better? I don't know, but
Right.
who knows what was going on in the background. There's rumors that there was power struggles between him and some of the other board members, and maybe he just said, you know what, I want out, I want that job, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how I'm going to push it forward.
Right.
Because reality is, Munich, I think they were forced to get Nagelsmann in such a way that if they didn't, it kind of would have looked bad on
Sure, absolutely.
So
like we said, Flick leaving kind of set this whole thing in motion, and
then we got Nagelsmann taking over the Flick.
Right.
Then Marsh coming in over there.
Yep.
Then on the other end, you got Terzek there in Munich, and Marco Rose is taking over for him at the end of the year. But he's part of Gluten Modbach, so that frees up a spot. Then Aude Hunter's coming in, but he's at Frankfurt, so that frees up a spot. So that's an opening there. And then you got Funkel at Cologne, which is kind of an open spot. And with Heinz Wolf at Leverkusen, he's just a caretaker manager right now. Who knows if they do good? Maybe he gets a permanent position. But fun fact, where is Heinz Wolf or Heinz Wolf? Where did he once coach at before?
I'm going to guess it starts with an S and ends with a
Stuttgart. Yes,
Yeah.
he was actually there where he won the Bundesliga 2 and then fired when he lost a bunch of games in 2018 when they got promoted. But nonetheless, that's how Stuttgart is connected to everything in the Bundesliga.
Nice connection. I like how everything, 6 degrees of Stuttgart.
Right there.
But so, I mean, that coaching merry-go-round it's nutty when you think about it. And you wouldn't see something like that. I don't think you're going to see anything like that ever again. Especially not in some of the other big leagues in the world. But the one that really intrigues me, one, Nagelsmann moving, yes, but Jesse Marsh, the American, absolutely phenomenal to see an American coach and go over and get handed a big team in a big league, and he has earned his way up. He has been through the MLS. He's been through several Bundesliga teams, and he has earned his way. I really hope he does well.
I do too. I think it's a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure. But at the same time, he's been successful already at Salzburg.
Mm-hmm.
He's been successful at Salzburg. You can't deny that.
Yep.
And I think he's going to do well. I think Leipzig is a good jump for him, where even though there is a lot of pressure, even though it is a bigger league, and I hate to say it's a lot of pressure, because he's a professional coach, and if you see the guy speak, I'm sure the pressure doesn't affect him at all. The guy has some of the most confidence I'd ever, and he just zooms confidence.
Sure.
You go look at the YouTube videos where he was pumping his team up for Liverpool. It's the way he was talking, the way he was going on there. Like, I was ready to go out.
Did I see something that he speaks several languages fluently as well?
Well, I know he speaks German fluently, but
which is a tough language.
Yeah, which is a tough language.
Yeah.
I can't. I tried. I get in a beer hall. I'm good.
Oh, I'm sure. With another beer.
Yeah,
I can order beers in a beer hall too.
Well, all right. I thought it was a little bit harder. I can order cheese in the grocery store.
All right, you got the important pieces down. But again, he is a very he's worked his way up. He's earned this position. He's earned this right to take on this challenge. I hope he does well. I hope we don't see any. I love the coaching merry-go-round, as we're calling it. I love to see it happen, but I don't want to see it happen again anytime soon. I'd like to see some of these coaches stick there at their clubs and build them and really start to take these teams forward and compete against Bayern Munich every year. So it's not just such a one-sided league.
Yeah, I think with a lot of some of these teams, their TV deals, they're now, because of COVID, they were forced to do this. They're more of an even TV deal. Some of these teams regularly making Champions League, like Leipzig, you're going to see the money spread out.
Good.
Unlike other leagues, you don't have the allowance of huge, heavy financial backers. So it's hard for someone to come in, City, and just, go, here's a bunch of money. Easy now, City fans. Okay, but that's for an example. It's hard that can't happen in the Bundesliga, and they have to operate within profit. That's part of the rules.
Sure.
So it comes down to the reason why Munich does so good is they are very very run very profitably and have a good system under it. And their constant success in the Champions League gives them that extra capital. I think with the emergence of this league now being shown on ESPN and globally more emergence in the big push from the federation for this to be more of a global league, you're going to start to see funds even out, and you're going to start to see some of these other teams kind of go for it. I was hoping Nagelsmann would actually get a few more years at Leipzig and actually take them, because I do believe that he would have taken them in the next couple of years and competed against Munich. I was a fan of his at Hoffenheim. I wanted him to go to Manchester United. I thought that when he was out there, I thought he was great in Hoffenheim, and you can see the success he had and where they're going now without him.
Right. That's a whole other can of worms, whether he could have gone there and with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there at the moment.
Oh, well, that's
we'll save that for another day. I like that.
I'll stand my lane.
do you think in the next couple of years it will even out and it won't be such a one-sided league?
Yeah, I mean, I think
it has to, right?
Yeah, I think with what's going on with these TV deals and how they just announce how it's again is COVID driven, but they from when I was over there, the Germans want it to be in Munich. They don't want it to be Munich. Not everyone's a Munich fan.
Right.
So there's a push to have an even league, but to do it in the right way.
Right.
And that right way doesn't mean bringing in a bunch of wealthy owners that are just going to throw money in it. This is not the style. That's not what they want to do. That's not the culture. So they want to do it in their way that still preserves culture and what they cherish about the league and what they find important. So I think it will get there for sure. I think we're starting to see it. I think you're starting to see the merges of it with what Dortmund has, even though they weren't that as good as everyone thought they were going to be this year, but what they have as far as building blocks, I think you're going to see it with Leipzig and with where they're going.
I hope so. I hope in the next year next year, we're sitting here saying, we've got 3 teams competing, just like in La Liga this year, right? You've got 3 teams at the top, and that hasn't happened in La Liga for a long time, where all of a sudden you've got any one of 3 teams that can win the league. I hope we're sitting here next year saying the same thing.
I'm fairly positive.
4 teams or 3
I'm fairly positive in 4 years Stuttgart will win the Bundesliga for sure.
You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that. You got to keep flying that flag.
It wasn't that long ago that they won once. You can do it again.
Flag, right?
You can do it again.
The year they win the league, the Villa going to win the Premiership.
Hey, then
and then we'll
be celebrating.
You find us on the floor somewhere, hammered. Oh my word! All right. Well,
wondering how many beers we drank before this at this point.
Yeah,
it's gone off the rails.
Lots to look forward to this weekend. Lots to look forward to the implications coming up of these games for the weekend. I think we'll have to make this a weekly session when we talk about the Bundesliga, because it has become one of my favorite leagues. I'm not quite the expert like you are, but I'm really getting up to speed and really enjoying watching these games. I highly recommend everybody. These games are all on ESPN as well.
ESPN Plus.
Easy to find. ESPN Plus. Find these games, friends. They're fun. And again, as we talked about, lots of Americans coming through. These young American kids, they're leaving the States here and they're going over to Germany and they're learning the trade. Soon it's going to be just an infiltration of American young players. And we can only hope, because that's only going to benefit the USA national team.
And I will say, even if you don't have time to watch every single game that there is, because you have a social life or something like that, which,
I don't know anybody who has a social life outside of soccer,
but there's on ESPN Plus, there's the match day recaps that are very good. 50 minutes to watch, runs down, great clips, interviews, every match day, every week's on the highlights.
Yep.
And interesting that's basically a German feed dubbed English.
Really?
So yeah, it's not a bunch of US commentators. It's basically the German feed, translated obviously in English. Sometimes there's been 1 or 2 on ESPN Plus that wasn't translated. Good luck with those.
Yeah. Well, there you go, friends. That's a pro tip from the expert. All right. Well, until next week, guys, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave some comments, and we'll see you next week. All right. Cheers.
Pros.